The Rock High Kingdom, yeah, that's their name, the Rock High Kingdom, and it is a lithoid empire. Laugh it up. Is literally right next door. We've sent an envoy to warm our relations with them, but our defenses have already expanded and our fleets are ready to fight should they be called to do so. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris Federations in our Final Federation 2 series. We're going to go back to Speed 2 as we begin here and continue to pay attention to where our ships are, our science ships specifically, are surveying, because we want to see what the resources look like in this area. I've been talking about where do I build the next starbase.
Log has been updated.
Yes, we also have a developing situation on Avalon about where to build the next starbase, and I believe I'm going to go ahead and give the order to get a starbase going on Sirius, because this is close enough to these trade lanes that I will be able to build things that help us enforce against piracy in just this entire area. So it'll help us in this core trade route that's now formed. We might also do one in Sirban for the same reason, but Sirban's only one jump away from Sol, so there's an argument that we don't need one there. Sirius also does have some trade value, and 3 jumps away there's some additional trade value. So we could have a trade-style station in Sirius, assuming there are no hostile neighbors down this way. But for now, we can go ahead and get that going, because it seems like a pretty good location to have a second one of our 4 starbases. And that capacity will improve as our population grows. The situation on Avalon has spiraled out of control. A staggering number of inhabitants are now infected with whatever is causing this feral deluge, and the colony has started to break down because of it. Something needs to be done or Avalon will be lost. Well, then do something. So now we have an option to root out the problem. It's going to take 12 months. We're still 27 months away from finishing planetary unification, so this is yet another project that's going to be taken up, as you can see, by our society researcher. You can always tell which researcher is going to have to sink their time into the project, but it's only going to take a year, so there's that at least. Terra Nova has some unemployment. This looks like it's going to be a farming world. Tell you what, let's go ahead and get some farms going there. We don't have the ability to clear any blockers yet. We are about 50% of the way. As I mentioned in the last episode, since we just met the Rock High Kingdom, we're going to be... Our relationship with them is improving, but we're going to be taking things really slow for a bit. I definitely did last episode as soon as I encountered these guys, and this is exactly where we expected to find them. These are the folks that destroyed the cultist flagship. They're the reason we didn't have to deal with the rest of that situation. And I think the Gammas Veil is up here. It's a shame, though, that because I wanted to get up to this nebula and do some refining, so we're going to have to find another nebula. It doesn't look like there's one nearby. The closest one on this arm is the Unar Patch. And they, by the way, notice that they've blocked our progress along this arm because their capital system was right here. They're on the same arm. They're kind of establishing themselves on 2 arms here. Interesting. The campaigning to elect a new chancellor is underway. Who's currently leading the vote? Yadzeni Nkwali? Wait, really? You're available? Oh, yeah, that's right. That our substance abuser governor that we replaced. Okay, well, that works for me. If she's the lead candidate, and because we have a new campaign going, another thing that's good to check when you have this style of government is you want to make sure that you've fulfilled your mandate. And I believe we will fulfill our mandate. This will give us 6 months worth of unity, which will help us push toward our next discovery tradition. I almost regret picking that tradition path last episode, because if I had waited just a bit, there's almost never any advantage to waiting. You want to get all those in place as soon as possible because you benefit from just about everything. And the sooner you have a tradition tree finished, the sooner you can have ascension perks, which, again, in general, benefit you for the rest of the game. And there are other benefits you unlock as well once you no longer have to worry about unlocking any of the traditions because you've unlocked them all in the endgame. So, again, the sooner you can make that happen, the better. But in situations like we saw happen last episode, if you haven't met your enemy yet and you're like, I don't know, maybe give this a few minutes because I feel like maybe I'm about to meet someone. I didn't necessarily have that sense. Hindsight's 20/20. But if you do have that sense, then that's a reason perhaps to wait on picking the second tradition tree. Reason being, I could have picked supremacy, for instance, which helps with our military prowess if I wanted to be a little bit stronger in early combat. So we're going more scientific, which is appropriate to the identity of our empire, for sure. I'm going to add the SCOD system to our territory. It's been fully surveyed. It has some additional minerals and some additional energy, which is nice. Nyadzeni Nkwali has been elected as Chancellor of the Unified Solar Republic. Consult the situation log for details on their mandate. So Nyadzeni has 2 traits. She has architectural sense, so all of our buildings are cheaper, all of our districts are cheaper, and planetary build speed is increased by 10% while Nyadzeni is in office. And she's a fertility preacher, so pop growth speed is improved, which is great, and food from jobs is improved by double that bonus. So 5% pop growth bonus, 10% food bonus. All right, and we did fulfill that mandate, so watch what happens here. Got a nice 6-month boost. Now the new mandate, energy economics. So now we need to make sure we have a surplus in our energy of 30. Now one thing I can also do now, I can consider selling in order to get above solid liquidity for the wealth promotion group. This is still, let's take a look here. Yeah, this is still our largest faction. We can restrict our policies to defensive wars only to make them happy. The other factions are perfectly happy. So in order to play a little game of politics, I'm going to go ahead and say that. We're going to say defensive wars only, because that's in line with the ethics of our empire. We don't necessarily want to start a war against the Rock High Kingdom right now. We're trying to be friends with them, and that will help us gain some additional influence per month because we've improved this faction's situation, that we've improved their opinion of the government. So what's going to happen at the end of this month is you'll see the monthly gain jump possibly to above 5.
Concluded.
Yep, plus 5.14. And we're not even done yet, because what I was just saying is that once we have energy credits above 5,000, we'll be in an even better position. All right, so the first fleet has arrived at the Korea starbase.
Construction
Notice
completed.
that this icon is now yellow as opposed to green, because they are not in a location where they can have their upkeep reduced like they were at their previous base. It's the same with the Seoul transport fleet. I've given the order for them to return just in case. I'm holding on to those consumer goods for now because we don't have a huge surplus. So as much as I would like to see the solid liquidity bonus like now, I am waiting
The special
for a
project
moment on
has
that.
concluded.
Ooh, we've lost one of our food-based bonuses. However, let's go ahead and encourage planetary growth on Earth again. There's not a notification right now for when those end, so you just kind of have to stay on top of it. Savage spores. So this is an interesting... I'm glad that we got this quest chain, because this is going to be helpful to us. The investigation of the strange and wild behavior currently besetting Avalon has been completed. In the vast network of cave tunnels that permeates the planet's crust, an enigmatic fungus has been found. It grows all over the caves, floor, walls, and ceiling, and stretches out for thousands of miles. The fungus frequently releases spores that are vented out of the caves. For what purpose has not been established, but we know for certain that it causes primitive behavior in our species, releasing primal urges within. We can try to find a useful application of this phenomenon, or we can exterminate the fungus altogether. So we can utilize the cave mushrooms, or we can exterminate. We're going to utilize them.
Situation log has been updated.
We're going to try and study it and see if we can find a way to harness this from a scientific perspective.
Completed.
Through hard work and experience, scientist Robert Stiles has developed new skills. He is now meticulous. That's great. So his anomaly discovery chances is 10%, and he already researches them 35% faster. So Robert Stiles is now level 2 and is better at his job than he was before. We are picking up life signs coming from somewhere within the interior of this asteroid. This is in the Unimar system. This definitely warrants a closer investigation. Research. Let's take a moment together. Hang on. Avalon needs some housing. So again, housing-wise, I could build one of these districts, or I could just build a city district to create a large amount of housing. 2 for each of these, 5 for this, and a clerk job. So, especially given the stability issues on Avalon with the Rowdy Bunch modifier, having something that improves housing and removes this problem. Devastation is also part of the issue. Notice that this is hurting the planet on account of the Rowdy Bunch. There's a housing reduction, there's amenities reduction, there's a trade value reduction, resources from jobs, upkeep from jobs. It's just generally bad. Upkeep from jobs, notice that was a green indicator, so that was actually an improvement. The jobs are not as expensive to maintain when the economy is kind of falling apart due to devastation. But as I was saying, let's take a moment. Ooh, hello. Have an Alpine world and a Tomb world in Bragafa. Let's take a moment and just visit some of our newly discovered systems. So this is the Osrof system. This is a Friri, Class K star, kind of an orange star. Sehutum we've already taken a look at. That's a Class G. A couple of gas giants, but no habitable worlds. This one, however, we have a trinary star system. Regatta A, B, and C. Class G, Class K, Class M. Looks like a 19-slot Alpine world. Bragafa 3. If I can get the camera to center properly, thank you. So some oceans, but just generally kind of a, not quite a tundra world, because tundra world is a class, but a very mountainous world. And then Bragatta 4, which is a tomb world. A rocky world with a nitrogen oxygen atmosphere. It is currently experiencing a nuclear winter with dense layers of sooty aerosols in the atmosphere, high levels of surface radiation, minimal signs of life. So that could be an indicator of a precursor species. We'll have to find out. We haven't discovered anything along those lines yet, but we'll be looking for that. So as you can see, we have different categories of relationship with the Rock High Kingdom. I would like to get to positive. We're currently at neutral. Oh, nice. We're receiving transmission from the independent space station of the Artisan Troop, which gives us an additional 41 influence. They appear to have successfully translated our language. Interesting. A visitor. This is a joyous occasion indeed. Oh, forgive my manners. I believe introductions are in order. We are the Artisan Troop. Our members have dedicated their lives to the pursuit of art, music, culture, and all other things which makes existence bearable to a sapient being. Please, if you would like to share in the wonder of our creations, do not hesitate to contact us. Interesting. So where are they? Oh, they're way over here, but they contacted us. Cool. All right, well, I'm going to open the Contacts tab with F1. We will communicate, and we can say, we wish to become your patron. This is a 10-year deal that increases our monthly unity by 10% and improves their opinion of us for just 1,000 energy. So we're now a little bit farther from solid liquidity, but I don't care. That boost is worth it. That's going to help us generate unity faster, unlock more traditions faster, and generally get ahead of the curve. Amazingly, while conducting their survey of UL1MXI2, the crew of the NSS Asimov picked up, this is in the Unimar system, picked up several life signs coming from within the asteroid. There appears to be a colony of large, burrowing, worm-like lithivores within the rock, which has been riddled with tunnels. These unique life forms have somehow adapted to a life in the coldness of space. These creatures should be studied. Okay, so now there's the opportunity for a science research station on this asteroid way out here in the outer belt of Unimar. This new system we're looking
survey
into.
Concluded.
This is SCOD, by the way. Class F star, beautiful white star.
Research concluded.
With a number of worlds around it. Looks like we finally can choose a new research project. We've unlocked capacity overload and the energy grid building. So this is the capacity overload edict. If I pull up F7, I'll show you. Costs 300 influence, so we're not going to be doing it anytime soon, but it's a way to boost our monthly energy credits for 11 years. It's quite nice. So we can improve our research station output, we can improve our deflectors, or we can improve research speed across the board. I'm going to take a bit of a risk and go ahead and go for this first over the improved deflectors. I'm not feeling a particularly threatening vibe from our new neighbors, so let's do something that's going to help us with all of our research, and we'll get to those shields as soon as we can. Yes, it's true that I've made some decisions and explained some decisions in this series already in terms of, well, I might not get this option again for a while. And that's true about the shields, so let's hope that's not the case. But I would rather apply that same rationale to the 5% research bonus. Because that's going to help everything, not just physics, not just research stations, but all research that we're doing. Because we talked about how the research stations bonus affects only the points in our research that we get from the orbital stations, not the research being generated planet-side. Okay, it looks like Atlantis needs some love as well. We are no longer suffering from an Empire Sprawl penalty, which is nice. Now, we have a housing issue on Atlantis, and it looks like an amenities issue, so I will go ahead and build a district. Looks like we need to buy a little bit to make this happen. That's fine. Also, how we doing? All right, so this modifier is still in place. Growth encouraged. That's going to expire in about a year. So you can't see when they expire, but the game doesn't tell you. You just got to stay on top of it. All right, perfect. So that... I don't know. Do I want to buy minerals? No, I'd rather let the minerals build up. I want solid liquidity
System
ASAP.
survey concluded.
Go explore this when you can. We might jump in and take these systems. Maybe. There would have to be a really good reason to take this one here. So I want to find out what's there.
We have detected an anomaly.
The nuclear wasteland, so this is in Brigata, this is the Tomb World, is a sign of previous civilization. Our scanners are picking up activity at certain locations that we should investigate. Leave be for now. We need to start looking into these anomalies. I've put a ton of them off so far because they've been a little bit too hard. And part of the issue is that we've lost our initial scientists, so we would have reached a point already where we could take more advantage and look into some of those anomalies. Unfortunately, we've been set back. So, a couple of things I want to show you about this base. This is a Starhold. So it has 5,000 armor points. It has 4 starbase modules. Has 2 starbase... You can build... So 2 starbase buildings... Oh, sorry, this is for the Starhold. For the Starport. There we go. I was looking at the wrong one. This makes more sense. 2,000 armor hit points. 2 starbase modules, obviously. 1 starbase buildings. 6 defense platforms, but here are the numbers that matter. Its collection range is currently 1. So it's only going to collect trade value. As you can see, it's collecting trade value from Sirius. That indicator is no longer there on the map. By the way, you can turn that on and off. If you always want to see what everything in your territory is giving you that's collected or uncollected, you can do this. Green numbers are collected, and then white numbers are not. Or you can turn that off, and that way the only indicators within your territory that will pop up are unclaimed resources, unclaimed trade value in this case. So Sirius is no longer showing unclaimed trade value because we have this station in place, and that is being converted once again into pure energy. So that's good that we have that station in place because it's helping to offset the upkeep of the station for one thing, but it's bringing in additional energy. Also, the protection range is at +1, which means that within this system, piracy has been reduced by a certain amount. You can add fighter bases, which we haven't researched yet, to increase the protection range so that neighboring systems also have that protection against piracy. You can also use patrols, but the main way to do it in the current version of the game is by using hangars. So for now, because I do have an ambition to collect some of the trade value from neighboring systems, see, it's going to take a lot to do that, though. 3 jumps away at minimum. And then 4 jumps if I want the trade value from Sahutum. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. We're going to set up 2 trade hubs there, and I'll wait to establish anything in that other slot. Alright, so a Freery needs to be added. I think I can go ahead and do that. Scott has been added. Let's go ahead and get those mining stations built. I was waiting for those resources to come in. So you can see that we do have this housing situation on Atlantis that will be resolved once that's done being built. Murnaz 2, strategic resource discovered. Exotic gases. During its survey of Murnaz 2, the NSS Asimov discovered several exotic gases previously unknown to us. These gases have a variety of different uses, particularly in the operation of advanced energy-based weaponry and force fields. Some of the gases can also be used as starship fuel or even as recreational drugs. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control of the system for future exploitation. Yes. So we now have this icon, which is grayed out because we can't exploit the resource yet, but that's in Mimaz, which is quite nice because that system is not one that we have to worry about losing. Well, it kind of is, actually. But it's locked in back here, and no one's going to come at it from another direction. If there's a threat, we know where the threat's going to come from. Let's say that. Avalon has received its first building slot. So I'm not going to go for admin offices this time. I might go for another Audicton monument. Let's see. Another argument is to go ahead and build a stronghold. Where is Avalon exactly? It's in Alpha Centauri. Now, this would help with defense armies, but also building strongholds improves our naval capacity, which our naval capacity, we're currently very close to our limit. So there's an argument for that. Yeah, let's go ahead and build a stronghold on Avalon.
We are being hailed.
Interesting. The Rock High Kingdom would like to form a commercial pact. Ever feel like your life is all about the have-tos and never about the want-tos, human? Have-tos and never about the want-tos? The India was unable to build a mining station in Scott. Oh, wow. And they want a research agreement. All right, so this is good. They're looking to establish a better relationship. We can establish a commercial pact. We have lots of influence that we're bringing in per month right now. And this will cost us a little bit. But this means that we will be able to improve our relationship with the Rock High Kingdom. We currently are cordial with them, so they're liking us. I'm going to agree to this. Let's see if we can synergize from our current relationship with them. And I did set my diplomatic stance to cooperative. Yes, I did. In defensive wars. So you can see that, yeah, our relationship with them is improving rapidly.
Registered.
We briefly detected some unusual energy readings emanating from this moon. Which moon? It might have been a glitch in our systems, or it could be a sign of something else. So it's in the Xenia system. Pretty big system with 2 asteroid belts down here. Go ahead and research that, please. Figure out what's going on with that. All right, new tradition available. So we have 2 choices in the discovery tree. We could always unlock another tree, but I'm going to keep going down the one that I've already chosen, which is what I almost always do. The number of science and medical officers has been increased. So this would give us an additional research alternative for all of our... This is one of the options I mentioned in the first episode when I was talking about research, about there being ways to play the card game, if you want to call it that. Ways to play your cards right when it comes to the research process. So this gives us an additional choice. Every single time you finish a research project, it can choose. So currently we've had 3 choices. This would mean we have 4. And scientist level cap would increase by 2. Or we can improve survey speed by 35% and science ship disengagement chance, which means that the likelihood science ships escape from sticky situations would improve by 50%. I like more choices. More choices sooner. Let's do it.
Construction completed.
All right, I'm not sure why. It looks like something ate up those minerals. And now I kind of do want to buy them, even though I was talking earlier about not doing so. Let's build that mining station. Sometimes if you give an order, it's strange the way that this works. Because when you give an order for those kinds of things to be built, it will check to make sure that you have the required minerals, but it doesn't use them right away. And then if you do something elsewhere in your empire that immediately takes those minerals up, that construction ship will go, oh, well, I no longer have what I need to do the thing that you wanted me to do. So, sorry. All right, we finished this project. We have monthly unity +2. We can now use the Peace Festival's edict, which requires 200 influence. Notice, by the way, our monthly influence has gone down a bit. Our research agreement and our commercial pact are removing 0.25 influence per month. But solid liquidity should help balance it against that a little bit. And then we have the additional edicts, which are campaigns. Now that's huge news. Let me show you what those are, because that's a big freaking deal. Before I do that, we have to choose between our now 4 options. We can unlock our blockers, naval capacity from soldier jobs +2, administrative capacity +2 or +5%. Huh. Let me go ahead and research the blockers. It's good to get those out of the way as soon as possible. But here's our edict screen. This is a big freaking deal. Now everything's changing. I know I've been talking about saving up so that I have solid liquidity, but now we're going to sell a bunch of stuff for different reasons. I'm going to sell a bunch of consumer goods so that we have over 4,000 energy. And then I'm going to launch the education campaign to improve leader experience gain. I'm going to launch the recycling campaign. This is all unlocked by that technology project we just finished. And I'm going to launch the healthcare campaign to improve pot growth speed. These are all for 11 years. Notice this also reduces consumer goods upkeep, so this number is about to go up. You pretty much want to activate those as soon as possible and keep them going. Those campaigns are awesome to run. Aha! We have the bunker bot. We have traced the unusual electromagnetic radiation, that's in Xenia 5, emanating from Xenia 5A to a secret subterranean bunker. It's right here, hiding a mega computer the size of a battleship. Our researchers suspect that it may have been there for several thousand years, hard at work solving a single, very complex problem, the nature of which still eludes us. When the crew attempted to interact with the computer, they discovered that the facility, which had appeared both abandoned and unguarded, was in fact operated by a security AI, the highest purpose of which seems to be frying its visitors alive. As the crew defeated the AI, it broadcasted a message in an unknown recipient. To an unknown recipient. So we could scrap the mega computer for parts, and we would gain 100 alloys, 50 rare crystals, and 50 volatile motes, which are rare resources we haven't encountered yet. We could use it to boost our own research, which means that for 10 years, we get 10% more monthly engineering, or we can let it continue its mysterious calculations. And I love this particular choice because we get 200 influence lump sum right away to expand into neighboring systems at our leisure. So, or to use any other influence-based action that we like peace festivals to improve happiness for 10 years, or encourage political thought to improve ethics shift chance. Again, you can do that if you want to have more of an ethically diverse empire and politically interesting playthrough. Diplomatic grants, I think we're doing okay diplomatically. Land of opportunity, so we can improve pop growth from immigration, and immigration pull. Immigration pull basically means your worlds are more attractive to people that are considering moving. When the pops make the decision about emigrating, as in EMI, emigrating from their current home, and then immigrating to another one, immigration pull influences all of that. All right, so we've added a Freery. We still need to add Hadar. I'm kind of slow on the uptick there because there's no resources. There's nothing in Hadar. There is the anomaly, so perhaps when I finish that anomaly, there will be resources to speak of in Hadar. Right now, there are not. All right, these two trade hubs have finished. So because I've added these trade hubs, now any trade value that's not collected within 2 jumps of Sirius, which is to say right now there is nothing in our territory that can be collected. But once Xenia is done being surveyed, this trade value and any additional trade value this science ship finds from its remaining survey orders, which it's a big system, so that there's a pretty good chance. All of these 13 orders you're seeing here are just in one system, Xenia. And then we're going to send Luke back probably to investigate some of these anomalies because it's time. We've put a lot of things off, and our precursor is probably sitting somewhere in here. I've been talking about how I haven't found them yet. That's why. That's why we haven't found them.
Anomalous readings registered.
Speaking of Xenia, an ancient orbital shipyard drifts in silence above this world. It has suffered significant battle damage, and entire sections of the facility are missing. It's routine. It's going to take 150 days. Let's go ahead and research it. That'll gain him some additional experience. Can't complain about that. Let's take another look at the market.
System survey concluded.
Okay, we've got over 1,000 food. I do need to keep an eye up. Yep. Need to make sure the colonies continue to grow as rapidly as possible, so we're using our extra food on that pretty frequently. I'm going to build the starbase in Memaz so that we have access to the exotic gases. We probably won't be able to exploit that for a while, but I want to go ahead and bring that into my territory. Unknown signal. Ooh, interesting. Wow. Lots of plots so far. A weak but insistent signal transmits on repeats in the Alastair's system. The Iastar's system, rather. Iastar system. The NSS Asimov has pinpointed its source to emanating from within the mouth of a destabilized subspace rift at the system's edge. What could be on the other side? Perhaps we shall find out. So we've detected what appears to be a naturally occurring subspace phenomenon on the edge of the Iastar's system. So that's... Oh, wow, we have a wormhole right here at the edge of this territory. Holy crap. Well, we've got a wormhole, ladies and gents. We can't explore it yet, but it's there. And now this science ship is going to take a look at that system, see what else is there to be captured. I like that it's right there, because this makes it a defensible point. If anyone were able to jump into our territory from that wormhole, which is now possible, we can at least
Construction
defend both in
completed.
both in Iastars and in
Knowledge is
Mimaz,
the key to the universe.
where their faction's been founded. So this is the Council of High Technology. That's a good sign. We have good technological positions right now. Ceramo metal armor has been researched, so we have slightly better armor. Automated shipyard. All right, let's make this decision, and then we'll take a look at the automated shipyard. And then we've got to end this episode, don't we? Because I've been going for 30 minutes. Let's see. While conducting their survey of Xenia 1A, the NSS Aldrin detected the remains of an automated shipyard in orbit. It is at least 1,000 years old and seems to have been subjected to a heavy missile barrage, but one of its manufacturing bays is still in working condition. Science Officer Luc Pelletier is confident that power can be restored to the shipyard, but it would be a significant project. So we could repair the automated shipyard, which this essentially would give us additional ships.
Situation log has been updated.
Like another ship in addition to the cultist ship we've already found. So I'm going to tell this guy to go ahead. Oh, we need the construction ship. That's right. Thankfully, we have one nearby in A. Freary. Come and take care of that, which is good. That's not going to slow down Luke. Let's now make our technology decision. We can improve our mining station output. That's all energy and mineral mining. We can improve our mining output by 20%. We can improve Corvette hull points, or we can finally have carrier operations. I'm going to go for this so that we can actually have strike craft and hangar bays that can help reduce piracy. Also, before I end this episode, let's take a look at Terra Nova and see what needs to be done here. So our naval capacity has improved slightly thanks to the stronghold that we built. I think I'm going to go ahead and build an Audicton monument. Haven't built one of those on all of my planets yet, but that's going to convert consumer goods into Unity and Society research, and by doing that, it'll help us, again, get more traditions faster so that we have that improved scientific edge. Let's also take a look very quickly at our new faction, the Council of High Technology. Staying ahead of the curve and not allowing any fellow empires to be more than equivalent will please the Council of High Technology, and then Science Without Borders. So we need to sign research treaties with at least 3 other empires to make these guys happy. So we have another faction, interestingly enough. All right, I'm going to stop this one here. In the next one, we're going to keep locking down this territory up here, and then start looking at anomalies with Luke once we're done in Xenia. And there's a lot of anomalies in our core territory. Probably most of them have to do with our precursors, so we have a lot of interesting plot, I think, just ahead of us in this series. The only reason I put those off is that we weren't quite high enough skill when we discovered them, and then we lost some scientists. So that can help you think about, well, maybe sometimes when you find challenging anomalies early on, go ahead and do it. But the reason I didn't do that is I wanted to explore as rapidly as possible, so you always have to weigh your options. I wanted to find more things and know what systems I needed to lock down as soon as possible, especially if I felt like there was an empire nearby, which turns out there was. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.